Good morning, guys. It's Thursday. I'm in the garage early. I was up late last night tearing the motor down. So what I tore down was a 2.7 that was built, the owner states, like 20 years ago. And I wanted to do this video to show you what not to do. I'm not going to beat up on the build. I'm only going to show you what not to do, or if you're getting engine built and you see this, you should probably stop the build. Okay. So I went out Tuesday out to Chatsworth, California, did a little run out there, picked up two motors. One's a 2.7, one is a 3-liter 1983 that is cut to 100 millimeter pistons and cylinders. The case has been cut, and that was a race motor, and it was quite a build, actually. I'll go over that a little bit. But I just wanted to say hi to everybody, and we're coming up into the weekend. I talked to Eric yesterday. He ordered his cams from Webcam, the 2021 grind for his build that we're doing. Hey, Eric. And we're going to, that's going to be a really cool motor. We're putting that one together. So anyways, let me show you this 2.7. I'll go over it fairly quickly just to show you what, if you see somebody doing this, or just don't do it like that. How about that? Okay. All right, let's check it out. So we'll start with the case here. The case was put together with silicone. We don't use silicone on anything. I use a little bit of silicone on the through bolts right over the seals. I'll show you that right now. But look at this. You got to see this. Look at that silicone in there. Okay, this is what you don't want to see. You can see how it is globbed on there pretty bad. And what happens is, as you can see, it goos up inside. It gets in the case, and it goes in the oil, all the oil areas. It'll block off passages for the oil, and then you end up with a hot spot, and then your motor's over with. So anyways, this was rebuilt, like I said, about over 20 years ago. I'm tearing it down. I told him, let's tear it down and go through it just to double check everything. But the silicone, you can see how that piece right there just kind of pushed out. That little ball is going to go through the system. If it, that big size might not get through the screen, but it's not good to have all this silicone on there. Okay. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's just incredible. Look at that. Okay. So the other thing was, the bearings that were in this motor, to me, look like they Scotch-Brighted them and used bearings. That's my guess. I'll show you the bearings right now. And the rods were not torqued to specifications. Actually, one side was a little light, and then the other side was really, torqued down. So not an even torque, and also no Loctite. So, now we'd Loctite the rod bolts. If I don't use ARP hardware, then these bolts were not known for stretching or anything like that. So, that's the case. Then the bearings for the intermittent shaft were definitely worn out. You can see those were not changed out. Both of those. There's 4 of these, one on each side, two on each side. Those were not changed out. So anyhow, the other thing, talk about silicone. It's just gooped on everything. There's the cam tower, the cam tower that locks for the cams, right? The through bolts, as you can see, all these little particles of silicone, all that will end up, and they'll go into cam towers, and they'll plug those little holes that oil the cams, and then your day's over. That's where you get all the wear. Even the thermostat. I mean, that's just, come on, dude. Seriously, right? And then all the through bolts are all done with RTV. Okay, so you don't do that. So cams look okay. There's the other problem is they got moisture in the motor from sitting probably in a garage. So the moisture just got in there. Let's see. You can see some of it here, some of it there. You know, you can see the moisture. It got rusty. The chains are rusty. We got to change out the chains. I wanted to show you the sprockets. There you go. Some of the rockers are rusty like that there. Okay, we got to replace that stuff. Another crazy thing I saw in here is these are 2-piece oil return tubes, and if you look at them, they've been welded to make them a 1-piece, right? Isn't that wild? I've never seen that. That's the first time. So 3 of them were like that. One of them was a regular one, but they were actually welded to make a solid tube. Okay, so obviously those are going to be new. So we know all the silicone was bad. The heads were redone. Okay, the heads were redone. You can see the heads. The years varied a few years here and there, but it does look like they were. I'm going to check them, of course, but it does look like they were all done as a set. Okay, the biggest problem with them is the springs. So the springs are rusty, and these got to be replaced because they will break. The springs are going to break no matter what. Okay, so those got to be replaced, and we're also going to do the seal. You got to do the seals at the same time. So that's the other thing. Pistons and cylinders. The rings probably have low time. I mean, some of them look like they had low time. I don't know. I mean, we're going to replace them, but they're used also. So, anyways, cylinders themselves. There's pretty much you don't see any hash marks. So they could be worn out. We'll size them all up and see what they come up to if they're within tolerance. But here you can see the covers here. There was moisture in there, so there was the white. Again, you could see these were pretty. These guys were actually really wet when we opened them up, and then you can see again the battle with the silicone. Yeah, that's going to be actually it's kind of hard to get out of there when it's done. Now the cam towers, they were glued on with something. I have no idea what it is. It looks like it's blue. Not much of it, but I can tell you that was going to fail. And that was going to have a really bad oil leak. The whole motor was not going to. It wasn't going to do very well from the beginning. But we'll get it all where it needs to be. Here's the bearings I was talking about. If you look at them, they look like they were Scotch-Brighted or steel wooled. They're all standard across the rods and the mains. And here's the mains. Again, you can see the edges are worn to copper, so they're used, but they look like they were Scotch-Brighted. And for some reason, there's a wear spot right in there on those. So anyhow, that's what was in this motor. We got to get the rods weighed and balanced and make sure everything's cool. It had springs really bother me. The moisture gets in there. You don't think that the moisture gets in there, and they do. So anyhow, you can just see this. I mean, it's everywhere, unfortunately. But the crank looks actually just visually it looks pretty good. Of course, we'll pull it and polish it and see what that comes out like. But the chains, you can see the chains are rusty. And also the chains they've got a link. Let me try to find that link in there. Right. I don't see it now. Let's see. There's a master link on them. So they were replaced at one time with a case. Anyway, I know there's a master. I know there's a master now. I saw that. So there is a master link. Anyhow, so I just wanted to share that, show you the motor, show you what you shouldn't do. And another side note, all the nuts on the case were Nylox valve cover bolts, which you shouldn't be there. We thought, as soon as I saw it, it didn't look good when you see the silicone squeezing out of the case and all that. But now we'll use the correct stuff, put it all back together, and see where the owner wants to go with it. So anyways, I just wanted to do a review of it. Like I said, I was up late last night. So this morning I got a mess in my garage. So I'm going to clean this up. I actually had somebody ask me about my roller toolbox. So let me show you what that is. Okay. So it is it's made by Hazit. And what it is, I've had this probably over 20 years at least. And what it was, the factory, when you worked at the factory, you had one of these, and you would put them in a line. I've seen these things lined up, a lot of them in a row, 2 rows of them. You would go grab your box and go to your station. So when I saw those on the old like history books of Porsche, I thought that's really cool. So I got one. I paid about $600 for them. I think they're about $1,500 now. And then I put a table on it here, which just collapses really easily. It's just to hold stuff when I'm kind of doing that. And then because it's easy to just roll this thing around and get the tools you need wherever you're at, actually. So anyways, okay, that's my toolbox somebody was asking about. Anyways, I am going to go ahead and get back in here and clean this stuff up, so I can walk around a little bit, and then I'll go over the 3-liter that was cut for a race car for 100mm piston cylinders. I'll go over that a little later so we don't get into too long of a video. And then we got the 914. I got a new muffler in there. It's ready to go. We're going to start driving that thing, and I want to show that car. Okay. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have a nice day.